Hub, we looked at 5 countries, so Kenya, Senegal, Nigeria, Zambia, Mozambique, yes. But then the funny part with Mozambique actually is when we went to go shoot there, on our way there, the area was actually bombed by insurgents. So we couldn't actually reach that, and then we shifted to Cameroon as a result. Then we've got the political advocacy pillar as well, which is just a shit show, right? Um, it's uh, it's quite difficult to explain that one, but essentially that's where really we got the most win. We got the African Ministerial Committee on the Environment to not have gas as a language, and that really played a role at the Africa Climate Summit. If you were there, gas was there in the initial conversations of the agenda, but by the time the summit was kicking off, it was kicked out, right? And that was because of the work of the wonderful people and the 700 people in that space as well. The African Union to adopt gas as a transition fuel and nuclear energy, and we provided a memo that was pushed. So currently we actually have over 60,000 sign-ons of Africans only saying no to gas, and that will be headed over to the African Union chairperson at COP as well. So that is the political pillar. And then we've got a new pillar that's coming up called the State Agency Capture Pillar, which is targeting the Africa Energy Chamber. Am I allowed to drop names like this? But anyways, the Africa Energy Chamber is run by the Cameroon NJ Ayuk, and he is the one that grants licensing rights across Africa, across the board. We did a very powerful opinion piece that made him go to LinkedIn one night and really tag DGA and tell the entire African continent, his LinkedIn community, that they've got no intentions on stopping oil and gas in Africa. So our efforts are just meaningless. And that's where we're at now. And that's what's emerging out of that. And they've included a lot of key ministers from different petroleum exporting countries, along with gas exporting countries. And that was the man who played a key role in the recently signed gas deal between Nigeria and Germany. But the good win is the dash for gas in Senegal was stopped by the campaign through the Senegal-German People's Alliance as well, which was just quite amazing, really, and we worked a lot with the German parliamentarians in order to push for that. So that's what's playing out at the political pillar, essentially. Then we've got the communication narrative, where we've used Global Citizen to really amplify our messages. So if you've seen all the Global Citizen concerts, there's always a Don't Gas Africa message, a Don't Gas Africa logo, a banner, and a position, and we met with the German Chancellor, with President Emmanuel Macron, on a new global financial architecture. So there's a lot of working pieces along shifting the narrative, which is simply gas is not a transition fuel, essentially. But we've got so many stories to tell, and I think it would be good to invite you all on the 4th of December at 16:30 at the Climate Justice Pavilion. I want to hijack this space, and we can learn more around that. But essentially, this space is for Africans. And if you're not in Africa, there's also a solidarity platform on the DGA website where you can stand in solidarity with Africans and actually have your piece. Earlier on this year, we actually went to Vienna at the European Gas Conference and we shut that down. We had 8,000 people across Europe mobilizing for Africa, and that was the largest ever organized by any African entity outside Africa. We managed to mobilize 8,000 Europeans to push back on the European Gas Conference, and that was one of the biggest achievements that we did this year. So there is something that we do, thank you, that we do within Africa, for Africa, and also in solidarity with people outside of Africa. And I invite you all to come on the 4th of December. And through this campaign is also birthing this Kick Total Out of Africa campaign, hashtag Total Enemies as well. And this will be launched next week as well. And it's a subsidiary and a sister campaign for Don't Gas Africa. But we are now targeting corporations to simply say, we're going to use you as an example, and the following year we're coming for BP, we're coming for Shell, and already there's a strong political advocacy that's coming up. We have engaged with a lot of soccer celebrities who are actually retired now to speak out on Total during the Africa Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire in January, and Don't Gas Africa is also having its strategy meeting in AFCON during that week, and we also have actually a big press conference where we involved several partners and powerful media houses. So a lot is happening, so please do come on the 4th of December. We've got a lot to share, there's a lot of work to do for us all here in this room. As I said, it's co-owned by each and every one of us. Zaki is a StopEACOP, but he's a major player. Lorraine and Omar are part of movements, but they're both major players in Don't Gas Africa. Laudito C, Greenpeace Africa, so many people. So it's really, really owned by just amazing individuals that are pushing back, along with Patience and Hilda as well. They've done their part. So please, 4th of December, let's come discuss and make some history together. Thank you.
So as we wind up, I would like to give just 30 seconds to our panelists to give us a closing statement.
En 30 secondes, tu donnes demander la fin.
Alors en fait, moi, la toute dernière chose que je vais vous dire, c'est que l'avenir en fait de notre monde n'est pas de tout ce qu'on va prendre aujourd'hui comme précieux.
The last word he need to say is that the future, like tomorrow, depends on what we are going to make some like decision today.
La décision que nous allons prendre aujourd'hui dépend aussi de l'avenir du parc national de Virunga, qui est le plus ancien parc à avoir été créé en Afrique.
The decision we are going to make today, it will influence also the big park of Virunga, which is the oldest one in Congo.
Parce que si on exploite le pétrole dans ces parcs, comme on est en train de vouloir le faire avec le projet ICOP, cela fera que le parc national de Virunga disparaisse à plus de 90%.
So if there is no decision to save the Virunga Park, what we are seeing with the oil project will lead that park to disappear 90% in next years.
Soutenir et arrêter le projet ICOP nous aidera à plus de 1000% à aussi aider à ce que ces blocs qui se trouvent dans les carabines albertains ne soient pas exploités. C'est pourquoi je nous appelle, je nous supplie d'ailleurs de tenir la force, de se soulever comme on le fait, puisque même ce qu'on a déjà fait, afin que nous puissions mettre à côté ces projets de bâtiment pétrolier et aussi des projets ICOP. Merci.
So supporting the fight against the eco project, oil block project in Congo will help us to conserve our park of Virunga. Thank you. So my last word is that protecting the Congo rainforest is not only something good for Congolese people, but for Africa and the whole planet. And protecting the Congo rainforest means providing alternative to Congolese people to access energy. It's impossible to say, yeah, Congolese people, you have to conserve the Congo rainforest while they don't have money, they don't have other source of energy. So we need definitely, it's like a must for this planet, for this core, to act and see how to make the protection of Congo forest something practiced not only on paper. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you,
I don't know what to say. I think solidarity is very important. My energy is coming back for those who know the drama. And I really want to make some noise. So I'm going to hijack the Don't Gas Africa slogan, okay? When I say don't gas, you say Africa, okay? Don't gas! Africa! Don't gas! Africa! Don't gas! Africa! And we want the world leaders to know we are not afraid of you. I'm going to stand up for this one. We are not afraid of you. Just because we are here in your oil-producing country, don't think that we are going to shy away. Don't come and impose your nonsense ideas that stem from colonialism. Yes. We are done with your neo-colonial mentalities. We are Africans and we have our own ideas and we don't need colonialism to continue. So when I say don't gas, you say? Africa. Don't gas! Africa. Don't
the Stop East African Oil campaign is not only for us, but for every one of us. Ending fossil fuels is not only going to help Africa, but everyone around the world, because we are all in a climate emergency. We don't want to reduce fossil fuels, but they should stop. We should stop releasing, extracting, investing in fossil fuels. And the only way we want this to happen, or one of the examples that can show us fossil fuels can actually stop, is when the East African crude oil pipeline is put to an end. And now, because when we talk about like we should phase out of fossil fuel, people think we are just putting out statements, or we are like just jumping on trends. But these stories are more than like enough to prove to the world that people are really suffering. People are really going through a lot. People's lives are at risk here. Look at people who are fighting in this, with us. The students in Uganda are being arrested, are in jail right now. People are in Luzira, people go to court, people are threatened by the government. This is not just a mere fight. People are risking their lives, their families, their friends, to make a better future for every one of us. Let us join, let us stand in solidarity with these people. Let us be out there, being people's back. Like the students, right now we are here. Some were even denied to come here, like at the airport. And these are spaces for us, not for these policy makers, because they're doing nothing. And these people have been denied access to COP, because they are fighting for our future, because they are saying the truth. Ending fossil fuel is not just a statement, but it's a reality we want to see. Let us stand with people that are doing this fight. We are not fighting for trends. People are risking their lives. Thank you.
Can I ask us to just raise our hand, make a fist in solidarity with the 9 activists who are arrested and the 2 who are held at the airport in Kenya who are refused to come here? Power to the people.
Power to the people.
Thank you. So in closing, I would like to say that from the birds in the east of Africa, from the elephants in the south of Africa, to the water resources, to the beautiful nature in Africa, Africa does not deserve to suffer a crisis it did not create. I have hope that what will create the needed change is empathy. Change will happen at the speed of empathy, and that means all of us working together hand in hand to drive this needed change. Thank you. If you have any questions for our panelists, you can talk to them individually after this session. Thank you everyone for coming.